Yeah, hello everyone. Welcome to the Makri Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I'm going to continue with your same module, that is the business skills for e-commerce, and the same chapter, that is chapter number 3, Internet Service Provider. Till now we have discussed about requirements of internet and what are the advantages of internet and who are the internet service providers. In the last class. Then today I'm going to move forward how to create or what are the types of ISP accounts that is available, means what are the types of connections that is available with the ISPs, or how we can adopt or how we can opt the ISPs as an adapter, as a requirement, as an tool. So that is a next topic, that is a today's topic. So first of all, let's take what we have discussed in the last class. That is what we have discussed in the last class. What are the topics of the last class? So let's take a quick review what we have covered in the last class. And we have covered the topic, that is the requirement for internet. That is what is the requirement for getting the internet connection. So whenever a user needs a connection, what is the requirement for this? That is the requirement for internet. So this says the basic requirements for connecting the computer system to the internet can be divided into two categories. That is, the basic requirement that is needed for a computer system to the internet is divided into two categories. Now, what are the two categories? One is the hardware requirement, one is the software requirement. So there are two requirements of internet, or there are two types of requirement that is used for the network or for internet. One is hardware requirement, one is software requirement. Now, first is hardware requirement. That what is the hardware requirement? Next is software requirement. That is what is the software requirement. So, what are the hardware requirement that is used, that is required whenever we use the internet? This says users can use any of the PC models coming today. That is, user can use any of the PC model, any of the processor, whether it may be using i3, i5, i7, and any processor it is using, any processor he or she is using. That is the basic need for the hardware. Along with that, there is a RAM capacity, that is a minimum of 32 GB RAM nowadays, and there is a graphics adapter, that is a graphics for showing the graphics or movies on the internet effectively. One should also have a telephone line, or ISDN, that is Integrated Services Digital Network Connection. ISDN connection has more bandwidth as compared to a single telephone line. That is, a ISDN have a more bandwidth, high bandwidth as compared to the single telephone line. That is, the connection of ISDN is very high. That is today's topic. We are going to study, or will study different connections like ISDN, dial-up in the today's class. A modem is also required. That is, there is also requirement for the modem. That stands for modulator and demodulator. That is, modem is modulator and demodulator. The computer operates on digital signals, whereas the telephone operates on analog signals. So this is the definition of the modem. So in simple terms, modem converts analog data into digital data and digital data into analog data. So the computer operates on digital signal, whereas the computer telephone line operates on analog signal. So there are two types of signal. One is digital, one is analog. Digital signals is in the computer, where the analog signal is in the telephone lines. So for the additional piece of hardware, a modem is connected between the computer and the telephone line. So modem acts as a mediator between the computer and the telephone line that converts a digital signal into analog and analog into digital signal. That is a vice versa. So modem is a device that is used to connect to the internet via telephone lines by converting the signals either from the analog to the digital or digital to analog signals. The good modems, that is the good quality modems available in the market, are US Robotics or D-Link modems. So these are the two basic models that is required, that is a D-Link modem. So this is the basic requirement in the organization in the market. A modem can be an ordinary modem or an fax voice modem. That modem can be of ordinary modem, that is simply a modem that is used, or a fax modem or voice modem. With the help of fax voice modem, we can also use, or we can also send the fax or voice quality, or give the voice quality. This is the fax voice modem in addition to the data, along with the carry voice on the net. That is, we can also provide the net with the help of this modem, that is the fax voice modem. Next is software requirement. Now, what are the software requirements of the user, or what are the software requirements of the user. Yeah, what is the software requirement? This says we should have connecting software and web browser software. Internet can be called upon from any operating system, whether it may be Windows 98 or whether it may be Windows NT, Linux, Unix, etc. The two most widely web browsers are Internet Explorer and Netscape Navigator or Netscape Communicator. So these are the basic, or these are the two most widely used browsers, such as Internet Explorer and the Netscape Navigator or Communicator. After having the basic requirements, the additional requirements are also as follows. So these are also the basic requirements for the um, software requirements, basic software requirements. That is antivirus, worm, anti-worm, firewall, system utilities, download accelerator or get right like software, comprehension or compression and uncompressing utilities, Adobe Reader, then Macromedia Flash, email configuring software like Outlook, and Web Messenger. So these are the various software requirement also for using the internet. Then we have studied about the next topic, that is the most important topic, that is the ISPs. That is, what are the types of ISPs, or what is the ISPs. So first of all, what is an ISP? Then what are the types of ISP providers or ISPs available in the country or available in the market? So first of all, the definition we have studied, that it is a company that provides the internet access to other companies or individual. So ISP is nothing but a company or organization that provides the services to other companies or individual. So whenever we need a internet, we can approach to the ISPs, different ISPs. So it is a company which provides internet access to other companies or individuals. An ISP maintains connection to other networks and ISPs. That it also maintains, or ISP maintains a connection to other networks and ISPs, acting as a router for internet traffic. So ISP is like a connection that acts as a router, that acts as a mediator or internet traffic, or router for the internet traffic between a customer's computer and any other machine also connected to the internet anywhere elsewhere in the world. So it is an ISP that provides the internet connectivity to the user. And then next is type of ISPs. That what are the types of ISPs, or what are the types of internet service providers. So it is divided into four categories. So this is, it is a company that you can dial up to get the internet, that is ISP. It is divided into four kinds, four categories. One is national companies. One is the national companies that offer services throughout the country. So national companies are the companies, ISPs, that provide the services throughout the country. So throughout the country, the services provided by the national companies, ISPs. For example, best example is BSNL, that is Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited. Then we have studied about what are the pros and the cons, that is what are the advantages and disadvantages of each kind of ISPs. So one of the advantages is that uh, if I want to travel something going to somewhere else placed, right? Then national companies provider ISPs are linked with the other companies or other place also. That is, if you travel or move, you most likely to get the access to the internet at a new location. Then what are the limitations? The technical persons may hard to reach on longer distance. That is, technical persons are not available in case of national companies on a longer distance. And there is also a limitation that there is some additional charges also in national companies. Sometimes there is a busy signals because it is a national company, so there are less bandwidth as compared to the private companies, because national companies is occupied by each and every user. So there may be a sometime network signal, weak network signal or busy network signals. Then one is national companies. Then next is specialized companies that offer a service like filtering. That is, a specialized company is a company that provides a specialized services like a private service. For example, providers are Reliance, Tata Indicom, Airtel, DSL, System Infoways, SCL, Infinite. Now, what are the pros and cons? That is, what are the advantages and the disadvantages of this one? That is a specialized company. That is the one of the major advantages that you don't need to install, or you do not have to install the additional software to get the keep in touch with the computer. That is, there is no requirement to installing or for installing additional software. Then you will not have to update your filtering software. Then what are the cons? In some cases, roaming facility of account is not available, and technical support may also be limited. That is the cons. Then the next category, third category, is local ISPs. That is the local ISP. That is the next category. So one is national companies, then specialized companies, then is local ISPs. That includes the small companies that offers ISP or internet service to a small area. That is the local ISPs. Who are the providers that is available in that area, that is available or local to the area to provide the internet, that is a local ISP. For example, a small Reliance store is available in a small city. So that is a local ISP for that country, for that city, for that place. Now, what are the pros? That is less error prone, because there are limited number of people, there are limited usage of internet, so this is very less error prone. Then less disconnections. Yeah, this is also correct, because the main concern is that there is a high bandwidth, because that is local to everyone, local to the nearby places, so there is a less disconnections. Then offers a local dial-up number if you are in a rural area that does not have local dial-up number from for the major providers. Now, what are the cons? That is, what are the limitations? There may be a limited in their equipment, or they may be limited in their equipment to offer a good, fast internet speed. Now, next is free ISP. So one is national companies, specialized companies, local ISPs, then free ISPs that provides the internet free of cost. Now, who are the providers who provides the internet service free of cost? That is known as the Call Tiger. That is CALLTIGER. Now, what are the pros and what are the cons? There is only one pro, that is it is of free cost and there is no commitment. And what are the cons? That technical support may be limited at the longer distance or not available at all. That is, there is a difficulty in getting the technical support in the free ISPs. Then may not offer reliable service. Then advertising is also, advertising banner can take a lot of space in your screen. Then some charge very high, or some charge very high setup fees. Stay away from these. That is, some charge very high fees whenever there is a personal ISP, or when there is a free ISP that is free of cost, because everyone needs a free of cost, but the installation cost is very high. That has to be bear by the user. That has to be bear by the persons who is getting the internet. So some charge very high setup fees. That is, stay away from these. Now 3.7, that is the next topic, is types of internet service provider accounts. That is a today's topic. That is a today's agenda or today's topic. That is, what are the types of internet service provider accounts. So let's start. There are many number of connections that a user can get on the internet. So there are a wide variety of connections that is available or that is used by the user to get the internet. So whenever a user needs to get the internet, so there are so many available, or there are so many connections available that a user can get for the internet. So there are a number of connections, or many type of connections that the user can get on the internet, depending on the or upon the type of usage and amount of resources available. So it depends on the user's time and it depends on the user's resources, that what are the type, or what is the connection, or what is the strength, or what is the internet speed. So it depends on the user's usage and depends on the amount of money or amount of resources, that is, money is available with the user. So there are many types of connection that a user can get on the internet. The different types of connections, their advantages and limitations have been discussed below. So this is the next part, that is, there are so many limitations, there are different types of limitations or different types of connections, their advantages and limitations are given below. So there are many variety of connections that a user can get on the internet. No matter what type of connection you go in for, it should be reliable, fast, easily available and economical. So no matter what type of connection you should take, you should make, it should be reliable, fast, easily available and economical. There is no such things as a free connection to the internet. Someone somewhere has to pay for the equipment, software, telephone lines and electricity. That is, no matter what type of connection you are going to on, it should be reliable, fast, available and economical. That is, no matter what type of connection you take, either you take the dial-up, either you take the feasible connection, no, there is no matter. The main concern is that it should be reliable, fast, easily available and economical. There is no such things as a free connection to the internet. Someone somewhere has to pay for the equipment, software, telephone lines and electricity. That is the ISP's accounts. That is the ISP users account. Basically there are four types of connection to the internet. That is, basically there are four types that is available for the internet, or there are four types of connections for using the internet, or there are four types of connection to the internet. First is dial-up connection, next ISDN connection, next lease line connection, next cable modem, next DSL, next broadband, next VSAT. So these are the four types of these are the few types of connections that is available to the internet. Not four types, there are more than four, that is seven types of internet connections or connection to the internet. First is dial-up connection, then ISDN connection, then lease line connection, then cable modem, DSL, broadband, VSAT. This is the most popular type of connection for an individual is the broadband connection. That is a popular type of connection that an individual uses, or that is available for the individual, is the broadband connection, as it is easily available and economical. So one of the major connection that every user uses is the broadband connection. Why? What is the advantage? It is easily available to, or it is easily available, that is easy, it is easy to access the dial-up connection, and it is very economical, that is cheap in price, that is very low in price, that is very economical. Now let's start with the one by one. First of all, there is a dial-up connection. As the name advice, as the name suggests, dial-up link means you have to dial into the modem over a telephone line. So as the name advice, dial-up, that is, first of all dial up a number, that means dial up into a modem over a telephone line. So first of all, user dials up a number to the telephone lines, or dial up a number into a modem, that is, dial a number to carry out in the modem into a modem over a telephone line before you get connected to the internet. So dial-up link means you have to dial up, or user have to dial up into a modem over a telephone line before you can connect to the get connected to the internet. A modem, that is a modulator and demodulator, is a device that converts digital signals into analog signals so that the data is transmitted over analog telephone lines. So this is the best definition that is given. A modem is a device that converts digital data into analog signals. That is, there are two terms, modem and demodulator, that is modulator and demodulator. So it is a device that converts digital signals emitting from the computer into analog signals so that the data is easily transmitted over analog telephone lines. So the data is easily carried out into the analog transmitted lines or telephone lines. At the receiving end, there is another modem. So at the receiving end, there is another modem that is available that converts these transmitted analog signals back to the digital form, which are received by the target computer. So at the receiving end, there is another modem that is available. There is a different modem that is available that transmits the analog data, or that carried out the analog data back to the digital form, which are received by the target computer, or which are received by the computer. So that is the next part, or that is a modem. So at the receiving end, there is another modem that converts these transmitted analog signals back to the original digital form, which are received by the target signals or which are received by the target computer. So in simple terms, whenever we use the or whenever a user uses the dial-up connection, so the user dial-ups a number and there is a usage of the modem starts. First of all, there is a modulator that converts the analog into digital, then demodulator that converts the digital into analog. Then for this type of connection, next point says for this type of connection you require, that is whenever you use the dial-up connection, then you require a computer whose configuration that is a computer whose configuration should be 80846, but the best is Pentium 4 or above. That is a better configuration is required, like different processors are required nowadays like i3, i4, i5, i7 or above, that is i3 or above. Communication software like a dialer which the internet connection providers will give and the telephone lines. That is what is the requirement. First of all there is a good processor that is required. Then communication software, that is how to communicate, that is communication software like a dialer which the internet connection providers would give and a telephone line. So there are three parts of requirement that is used. One is the processor, one is the communication software, and one is the telephone line. A modem that is of optimal speed is 36.6 kbps. So the a modem is also required. It's a device that is required. That is the optimal speed, that is the minimum speed, that is the better speed is 36.6 kbps. These days we use modems of speeds up to 5 foot or 56 kbps. That is nowadays it is of not kbps, it is in case or it is in fact reaches the gbps or mbps, right? What is kbps? That is kilobits per second, mbps megabits per second, gbps gigabits per second. Software like a browser, email program, FTP software, newsgroup leader, Edura, Outlook Express, etc. So there is also a requirement of the software like a browser, like a email program, like FTP server, FTP software, newsgroup reader, Edura, Outlook Express, etc. Now, what is Outlook Express? It is one of the software which helps to read out the news and the mail offline. That is, it is a software that helps to read out the news and what are the news available and the mail offline once they have been collected online. So it is one of the software that helps to read out the news and the online software and provides the offline mail offline once they have collected the or once they have been collected online. There are three major ways by which you can get linked to the internet. So there are three ways by which you can get to the or link to the internet using a dial-up connection. So what are the three ways in which they are connected, or what are the three ways in which they are linked to the internet? So there are three ways by which we can get to the internet using dial-up connection. So what are the three ways? First is host terminal connection. So there must be a host terminal connection while getting the dial-up connection. Another is individual computer. That is, there must be individual computers. That is, every individual must go to the computer. That is, dial-up is available on the individual computers. Then dial-up or on demand through the LAN. That is, another way is that, last way is that there is a dial-up, that is a dial-up connection that is carried out on a demand basis, that is carried out with the help of the LAN, that is a local area network. Now, first is host terminal connection, that is terminal emulation. That another name is terminal emulation. So these are the ways how we are connected to the internet using dial-up connection. So first is host terminal connection. So in case of host terminal connection, a PC is connected to some internet host via modem. That is, a PC is connected to some internet host that is required. A PC is connected with some internet that is via modem, and a terminal emulation program is running. So in case of the host program, host terminal connection, a PC is connected with the internet host via modem, and a terminal emulation program is running on or run. Your terminal now acts like a VT100 terminal. So now your terminal now acts like a VT100 terminal. In other words, you are connected to a large computer which is connected to the internet. So in other words, in simple terms, we are connected to a large terminal. We are connected to a large computer. That is a host terminal connection. That is a large internet connection is required. That is a large computer is required that is connected to the internet. Therefore, if you want to download a file, the file is downloaded to the host and not your computer. That is, if there is a host terminal connection, so everything that is related to the internet is available on the host. For example, if I want to download a file, the file is downloaded on the host and not your computer. To download a file from their host to your computer, you need to have some specific software. That is, you need to have some specific software specification that is required while I want to get a file from the host to my personal computer. And this type of connection you can download only text but not graphics. Therefore, host terminal connection is also refers to a shell account. That is, another name of host terminal connection is host account or terminal emulation. And in simple terms, whenever we use the host terminal connection, everything is connected to the, or everything is doing on the, host. That is, every provision, every downloading, or everything is done on the host. So a PC is connected to some network or internet host via modem, and a terminal emulation program is running. Your terminal now acts like a VT100 terminal. In other words, you are connected to a large number of computers which is connected to the internet. Therefore, if you want to download a file, the file is downloaded through the host and not your computer. So in this type of connection, you can download only the text, not the graphics. Hence, a host terminal connection is also refers to a shell account. That is, it is also known as the shell account. Now, what are the advantages or what are the areas that in which it is very suitable? It means the host terminal connection is very suitable. It is suitable for the student whose budget is low and the requirement is limited to the text. So it is suitable to the various persons, or it is suitable to the various hosts, it is suitable to the various people, various students whose budget is low. That is, their budget is low and their requirement is limited to the text. That is, their budget is low, I agree, and their requirements, that is, their requirement means their need is also limited to the text. Then second point is users who connect via telnet programs. That is, it is also suitable for the users who is connected via telnet programs. Then users whose frequency to use the internet is low. That is also a case. We need the host terminal emulation or host terminal connection whenever the requirement or whenever the frequency, that is, the bandwidth of the internet is low. Then next, users who want to use the internet to access the network of their workplace from their home place, that is personal account. That is, it is also used to the users, or it is suitable for the users who wants to use the internet to access the network of their workplace from their home place, that is a personal account. Such users should connect via telnet. So telnet is a program that is available for the host terminal. So that is available for the terminal emulation. That is using the telnet. That is a telecommunication network. So whenever anyone says that what is the protocol that is used for the internet connection, that is used for the host computers, that is known as the telnet. That is a telecommunication network. Next point says jobs where multitasking or multitasking is not required. That is, it is also suitable whenever there is a single tasking that is required. There is no requirement of the multitasking. This connection permits only one task at a time. That is, the remote emulation program permits only one task at a time. That is, the user cannot read the news as well as download a file. That is, there is no as such two requirements, as such two needs that is fulfilled. That is, there is no need for the user can also read the newspaper or the news on the internet, also download a file. That is not suitable for the remote connection. So it is also the remote connections or the remote or the host terminal emulation is only suitable for the single tasking. It is suitable, it may be carried out with the multitasking, but it is suitable, that is better work for the single tasking. Now next point is this type of connection, that is a dial-up connection, offer three different types of accounts depending on the distance from the ISP. So this also divided into three categories, that is a dial-up connection. There are different types of accounts that depends on your distance from the ISP. So that depends on your distance from the ISP and the nature of work for which you want the connection. And the nature of work for which you want the connection, that is the next part, or that is the type of accounts. The first one is local dial-up. Then the next one is use of public data network. Then restricted access. So these are the three parts that is used. One is the local dial-up, one is the use of public data network, one is the restricted access. Now what is a local dial-up? This is local dial is the cheapest type and is only possible if the host is at the local telephone call distance away. So local dial-up means it is the cheapest way, and the local dialing is take place, or local dialing takes place if a host is at a local telephone call distance away. So it is the cheapest method, cheapest type, and it is available if the host is available at the local host computers. Right. Then public data network. Next part is public data network. That is, if the host is not in the vicinity, that is, if the host is not in the vicinity, then long distance calls have to be made over public data networks. If the speed of such network is slow, then data transmission speed will also be slow. So if the host is not in the vicinity, then long distance calls have to be made over public data network. That is, if the local host is not available, then use the public data network. If the speed of such network is slow, then data transmission speed will also be slow and connection will prove to be more expensive. The next is restricted access account. So one is local dial-up, then the second one is public data network. That is, the local dial-up is the cheapest method and it is only local to the telephone calls. Then public data network, that is in the vicinity, and the long distance calls have to be made over public data networks. If the speed is slow, then the data transmission will also slow and the connection will prove to be more expensive. Then next is restricted access account. Suppose you want to access only email or news group. In such a situation, so restricted access account is best for you. There are certain sites which provides inexpensive email accounts, local bulletin board services, etc. But you have to register, pay for, or you have to register and pay for it for the services that you want. That is a restricted access account. There are three types of accounts in host terminal emulation also in host terminal. So what are the three types of accounts? One is a local dial-up, one is the public data network, and one is the restricted access accounts. Now, second one is individual computer. So we have covered one part, that is the topmost part, that is a dial-up connection. And this we have covered the host terminal connection only. So there are three ways in which we can link using dial-up. First is using the host terminal connection, that is using the telnet, that is a telecommunication network. Next is using the individual computer separately, that is the individual computers. Here your computer can work as an internet. Now your computer can work as an internet whenever we use the account, whenever we use the method of the individual computer. So here your computer can work as an internet host, that is direct downloading of files and mails, that is there is a direct downloading of files and mails that have been taken place, that can be done when connected to the network. So your computer can work as an internet host, that is direct downloading of the files and mails, and can be done when connected to the internet. This kind of link is a little more costly than the host terminal connection, as you have to pay a monthly fees to the service providers. So this type of link is little more costly than the host terminal connection. So it is more costly than the host terminal connection, as you have to pay a monthly fees to the service providers. That is, you have to pay a monthly fees for the service providers, or sometimes even a flat charge for a fixed period of time. Here you can have the one or more of the following accounts. That is, in case of individual account, every individual computer, every individual person that is a user needs a account, one of the following account. What are the two types of account? What are the two types of protocol that uses? One is SLIP, that is serial line internet protocol. That is a SLIP. Next is POP, that is a PPP, that is a point to point or point to point protocol, that is a PPP. So first is SLIP, that is a serial line internet protocol, then PPP, that is a point to point protocol. So these are the categories of the individual computers. Now first is SLIP. So this says in case of SLIP, data is sent in packets. So whenever we use the SLIP, that is a serial line internet protocol, the data is split into, or data is sent in the packets under speed of 9600 bps on telephone lines. So whenever we use a SLIP, that is a serial line internet protocol, data is sent in the packets. That is, data is available in the packets under speed of 9600 bps on telephone lines using data compression protocols, that is a SLIP. Then point to point protocol. So in case of PPP, data is sent over telephone lines via modem. In case of SLIP, data is sent in packets under speed of this one using data compression protocols. In case of PPP, data is sent over telephone lines over modem. That is, data is sent over the telephone lines with the help of the modem. Double checking is done at the destination to see if the data packets have arrived intact or intact. That is, double checking is done to the destination point to see if the data is available at the destination point or not. These days PPP connection are more common. That is, these days as comparison to SLIP, PPP connection is more available or more in demand, because it is allows better authorization or better authentication of users. These days PPP connections are most common in days due to their security reasons. Again, speed of data transfer in PPP is faster than in SLIP. The speed of the PPP is also high as compared to the SLIP. So these are the two various accounts that is available in the individual computers. One is SLIP, one is the PPP, that is a serial line internet protocol, and the point to point protocol. So these are the two categories by which we can differentiate, by which we can divide the individual computer into two parts. Now this type of connection is good for people. Which type of connection? That is a PPP connection, or the individual computer connection, is available for good for people. Why it is good? Because of usage of the graphics, then download files often, then use direct email or any other online service, use internet regularly through for limited hours. So these are the few connections, or this type of connection is good for people whenever they use the graphics, or whenever they download the file very frequently, that is, they download the files very frequently, or uses the direct email or any other online service, and then use the internet regularly through for internet connectivity or for limited hours. That is, the limited hours that is available for the internet connection. This type of connection, that is the individual computers, is also suitable in these types of connections, good for the people. The limitations are few. That is, what are the limitations of using the individual computers? uh, that is very few. That is, the such as people may not able to access the internet easily if the disk space is limited, or if the line is slow. So if the line is slow, people may not able to get the, or may not able to access the internet very easily if the disk space is low, or if the disk space is limited, or if the line is slow. That is, the speed below 28.8 kbps will not be accessed by other people. This is one of the limitation, also one of the limitation. Next is that is the C part. So we have covered about the first part by which we can access the dial-up connection. What is the first part? That is a remote desktop connection. That is a host terminal connection. Next part is individual computer, and the third part is dial-up on demand through the LAN. In this case, there is a dial-up link from the LAN to which you are connected to. So in this case, that is in case of dial-up with the on demand through the LAN to the LAN, and there is a dial-up link from the LAN you are to which you are connected to. This type of connection is favorable for small business houses. That is, this type of connection is very suitable or favorable for small business houses and educational institutes. Here, the server on demand dial up for a connection, and when the connection is established, everybody logged into the LAN can access the internet. So here the server on the demand dial up for a connection, or dial up for a speed, or dial up for a connection, and once the connection is established, once the connection is over, connection is established, everybody logged onto the LAN can access the internet. So that is the dial up on a demand basis through the LAN. So this is very effective for the small businesses where there is a small business houses and the educational institutes. Here the connection or the server on demand dial up for a connection, and once the connection is established. So first of all a connection is made. Then if the connection is made, established, everyone logged onto the LAN can access the internet that is available with the help of internet. So this is simply a dial-up connection with the help of the LAN. So everyone who is using the LAN can access the network. In such a situation, if there is any file downloaded from the internet, they like any other file, this file will be accessible to all LAN clients. That is if a condition that if the file is downloaded from the internet or uses any other file, then the file will be accessible to all LAN clients. That the file is available to the each and every individual LAN clients. The only problem here is that the more the number of users logged onto the LAN and working on the internet, the slow will be the internet connection. The main concern is that the main problem is that more the number of users logged into the LAN. That is, if there are more number of users that is connected with the LAN and working on the internet, the slower will be the internet connection. That the connection is also slow. That is a limitation, that is a very major problem, that the number of users that is logged onto the LAN and working on the internet, the connection or the slower will be the internet connection. However, this is very successful if you have a very fast server software along with very fast line. That is, it is also suitable, or it is better one, or it is successful whenever there is a fast server. Whenever there is a fast server software along with very fast line. Again, extra softwares like proxy servers are also required to serve the need of the various individual LAN users. Again, this is also a software, or again extra softwares like proxy servers are also required to serve the need of various individual LAN users with one internet connection. That is, this software is like a proxy server that is also required to serve the need of the various individual LAN workers. That is, it is using the various individual LAN workers, LAN areas, LAN users with one internet connection. This is also a case. So there are three parts, or there are three types of this dial-up connection. One is this one, that is the first is host terminal connection, then individual computer, and then dial-up on demand through the LAN. In host terminal computer, there is a terminal that is available, that is, there is a large computer that is connected to the internet. Then next part is your individual computer, that is downloading the files with the help of the computer, that contains two accounts, that is clip and the PPP, that is point to point protocol. Then C part is dial up using the demand, or dial up on the demand through the LAN. that is using the dial-up. There is a demand connection using the LAN. The next part is ISDN, that is Integrated Services Digital Network Connection, that is ISDN. That is the next category of the connectivity. That is the next category that we have discussed. We will discuss after the class. Oh, sorry, after the break, not after the class. What I said. So sorry. So let's stop over here only. Let's take a break right now. Then after the break, let's start with the ISDN, that is the Integrated Services Digital Network. So let's take a break right now. So come back from the break. Now let's start the session again. So the second part is ISDN. Till now we have covered the first account. So next part is your ISDN. That is the next part. That is the continuation of the dial-up connection. So first part is dial-up connection, and the next part is ISDN. That is Integrated Services Digital Network Connection. That is the next part. That is the Integrated Services Digital Network Connection. Or ISDN full form is Integrated Services Digital Network, and the connection is the next one. Then the next one is this is a very high speed coast. This is a very high speed connection to the internet over normal telephone line. That is a high speed connection. So this provides ISDN provides a high speed connection to the internet over normal telephone line. It combines both voice and digital information in a single medium. That is, it combines both the voice as well as the digital information. That is a analog data as well as the digital signal, as well as a digital signal for the data. That is a it also provides the voice as well as the digital information, making it possible to make the consumer with digital as well as the voice connections, to make the connections that is available. So this is the ISDN, that is a very high speed connection to the internet over the normal telephone lines, right? So this is very important one, and this is one of the useful method that is used over the normal telephone lines. It combines both voice and digital information in a single medium. That is, it combines both the digital and the voice information. That is, it combines both the voice and the digital information in a single medium, making it possible to provide the customers with digital as well as voice connection. So making it possible makes it possible to provide the connection with the digital as well as the voice connections. In ISDN connection, that is, whenever we use the ISDN, the information that is sent from your computer to the internet is in digital form. That is, in ISDN connection, the information which is sent from the computer to the internet is in digital form. That is the information that the user sent to the with the help of that the user sends to your computer. The information which is sent from your computer to the internet, that is the user sends to the internet, is in digital form. Here we do not use a normal modem. That is, there is no conversion of the analog to digital or digital to analog. So there is no need of the modem that is required. So we use an ISDN modem, which is merely a terminal adapter, which is an adapter that is used, that is the ISDN modem, that is the Integrated Services Digital Network. Another difference lies in the fact that the ISDN lines, in order to work, require power from outside. That is another difference that lies between the ISDN and the first one, dial-up connection. When there is a power shutdown, so when there is a power that is shut down, that whenever there is a power that is shut down, ISDN lines will not work. So whenever there is a power that is shut down, so the ISDN lines cannot work or will not work. ISDN service may have many variations, but we have to follow basic rate interface service. That is, ISDN services are of many types, but the main one is that the main that is followed, that the basic rate interface service, that is the BRI service. Here the ISDN lines is divided into logical channels. What are the names of that channels? That is, the ISDN is divided into different logical channels. Now what are the types of logical channels that they have or that the ISDN contains? The first one is 264 kbps B, that is a bearer channel. So that is the first part. So in simple terms, first of all, let's understand what is the ISDN. So whenever we need a high speed connection to the internet, uh, except the or over the normal telephone lines, that is, we have covered only till now the normal telephone line. So whenever we need a high speed connection over a normal telephone lines, we use the ISDN. It combines both the voice and digital information in a single medium. It means the ISDN combines both the voice and the digital information in a single medium, making it possible to provide the customers with digital as well as voice connection. That is, customer will get both the voice as well as the digital connection. That is, he or she can see, or he or she can watch the, or he or she can listen the connections or listen the networking sites. In ISDN connection, the information that is sent from your computer to the internet is in digital form. Here we do not use a normal modem. Instead we use the ISDN modem that converts the analog into digital and digital into analog. So whenever there is a power shutdown, ISDN will not work. So whenever this needs a power connection. ISDN services have many variations, but we follow basic rate interface services. That is, we follow the BRI services in the ISDN. That is the basic rate interface. And there are different channels in the ISDN, which are as follows. So now let's understand what are the various channels in the ISDN. These logical channels are divided into this part: 264 kbps bearer channel. That is, one of the channel is 2 kbps, 264 kbps. That is TWO2 64. That is 64 kbps bearer channels. Then one 16 kbps D channel. That is a one means a numeric one kbps or 16 kbps D channel. Therefore, ISDN is commonly refers to as 2B plus D. That is, there is a need of two bearer channel and there is need of one data channel. So this equation forms is 2B plus D. That is two bearer channel and the one data channel. Over bearer channels you can send data. That is, whenever we use the bearer channels, you can send the data. If only data is sent, then it could be sent at a speed of 64 plus 64, that is 124 kbps. Why? Because there are two bearer channels that is used. One is of 64, one is of 64. So that needs only 128, that is 64 plus 64, 128 kbps. But if both the data and the voice is needed, that is the data as well as the voice is to travel, then one B channel is dedicated to the voice and another to the data. That is, if there is a requirement of simply data or the voice, then we use two channels together for sending the data or the voice. But if I need that there is a requirement of the data or sending the data or the voice, then both, then one B channel is used for the data and one B channel is used for the voice. The data or the D channel is used to send signaling information for routing data, which is being sent over B channel. That is the D channel is used, that is the next part, that is the second one, that is the D channel, that is used to send signaling information. That is used to send the signaling information that is required for routing data, which is being sent over B channel. That is, if there is any information, if there is any signal information that is sent over the or that is sent via the B channel. Therefore, telephone companies which do not have the ability to use D channels removes 8 kbps from each B channel. Therefore, the telephone companies who do not have authority, who do not have ability to use the D channels, removes the 8 kbps from each B channels. Therefore, only 56 kbps of data can go over each of these B channels. That is, only the 56 kbps of data can go over from the or each of these B channels. That is the 56 kbps of data. So this is of 16 kbps, that is of 56 kbps, that is of 8 kbps each. Apart from a voice, many value-added services are also offered like this one. So apart from the voice, apart from sending the voice, many value-added services or more and more value added services are being offered. Like, what are the services that is used? One is telephones will soon have the facility to display names, address and telephone number of the caller while the telephone rings. So this is also a facility that the user can get the information, whose phone is this, what is the phone number, what is the address, what is the telephone number of the caller when the telephone rings. There is a telephone calling system, or there is a telephone recorder system, or there is a telephone recording system, voice system that is available, that has a facility to display the name, address, telephone number of the caller while the telephone rings. Next point says, when the telephone gets connected to the computer, the caller's database record is displayed on the computer. So when the telephone gets connected to the computer, when there is a telephone that is connected to the computer, then the caller's database record is displayed on the computer. And then third one is call forwarding facility. Next is call forwarding facility, that is we can forward the call, that is a call forwarding facility. Then remote electricity meter reading services. So these are the various services that is provided by the ISDN. That is, there is a remote electricity meter reading services. Then smoke alarms that automatically collapse the hospital, fire station or police station. And there is also a facility of the smoke alarms. So if there is any smoke, if there is any smoke that is available in the mall, that is available in the room, that is available in the home, that collapse the hospital, that automatically send the signal to the hospital, fire station or the police station. So these are the various services that is also provided by the ISDN. So in simple terms, integrated services digital network. That is, we can integrate the services of the digital type. So it is a network that integrates the services of the various types. Services integration means we can also use the telephone lines, remote electricity, telephone lines display like name, address, phone number, and logical channels like 264 bearer channel and 116 kbps data channel. So these are the various types of the ISDN as well as the dial-up connections. Now the next is advantages of using the ISDN. That is, what are the advantages while using the ISDN? First of all, I want to clarify from you, Larry. You need to be leaving by 1 p.m. So how much time is left according to the IST? Oh, you already left. Are you still there? Are you able to listen me? Okay, 10 minutes more. Okay, no issues. Tell me. All right. So I will finish only this topic, that is the advantages of ISDN, not starting with this topic, that is a leased line connection. All right, Larry? Okay. So next is, welcome, Larry. Next is the advantages of using the ISDN. That is, what are the advantages of ISDN that we have studied, that what are the benefits that is provided by the ISDN. So one of the advantages is that ISDN provides high speed access. So there is a high speed of internet, or there is the access capability of high speed, that is the high speed access that ISDN provides, that is around 128 kbps. That is a 128 kbps is the speed that is provided by the ISDN. So it allows the high speed access, that is the 128 kbps, that is kilobits per second. Yeah, full meaning is kilobits per second. I will type it. That is kilobits, or if I say kilobytes per second, not bits. It's not kill, it's kilo. I'm so sorry. It's kilobits per second or kilobytes per second. That is kbps. So welcome, Larry. So this also allows the high speed access, that is it provides the speed up to the or it provides the speed of minimum of 128 kbps, that is 128 kbps is the speed of the ISDN. Then no special laying down of wires, that is there is no special laying down of wires, that is there is no criteria of the wires, that is a proper wiring mechanism, nothing, there is no wire, all thing is everyone is or everything is wireless, most of the things, but some wires are required but not a hodgepodge of the wires. So no special laying down of wires, the existing copper telephone cable work fine, that is the existing copper telephone lines wires are or work well. Then ISDN can be used for the voice, data, graphics, full motion, video as data transfer speed is high. So it can also be used for the voice, it can also be used for the data, it can also be used for the full motion, it can be also used as a full motion video as the data transfer speed is high. So these are the various advantages of using the ISDN. First is it allows or it provides the high speed connection, that it allows the high speed access. Then no special laying down of wires, that is there is no requirement of the wires. Then can be used for the voice, data, graphics, full motion video as the data transfer speed is high, that is we can access or we can use any type of connection, either it may be voice, data, graphics, full motion video. The disadvantage, next part is disadvantage, because as I know or as you know, as we know, there are some pros. If there any application, any topic have some pros, then there are some cons also. So the disadvantage of using the ISDN is that it proves to be an expensive affair as special equipment. So it proves to be an or it is a very expensive affair, expensive method, as a special equipment is required. A special ISDN modem is required, and the traffic is also high in the ISDN modem. This is one of the limitation, that we need a high cost or we need a additional cost, that is the ISDN modem, that proves to be very expensive. That is the ISDN modem is of high cost, so that is expensive. This is the limitation of the ISDN. That is it is expensive affair as special equipment is required for it, and that is the ISDN modem for example, and the traffic is also high in the ISDN connection. So that is also a limitation of the ISDN. So we have covered in the today's class ISDN as well as the dial-up connection. So I'm leaving or I'm stopping over here only. No issues, Larry. We'll be covering the next topic, that is a leased line connection, that is the third part. That is the third part of the internet service providers, internet services. So I will carry this topic, that is leased line connection, in the next class, that's the tomorrow's class, that is also known as dedicated connection. So thanks a lot everyone for listening me. So bye bye everyone, bye bye Larry, not everyone only Larry is available. Enjoy your day Larry, bye bye.